Welcome back. It is episode 129. I am your host, Jacob Harris, and this podcast is brought to you by Achievement Apex and Power Pit Rockingham, also Supplement Mart Rockingham, and also Ped Test Australia and Bulk Gym Chalk. That's probably the first time I've made it through that intro in the last couple of episodes. Go me. I am joined today by Sarah Rainbow. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
It's my pleasure. I have been following you for quite some time, and it was only recently that I realized that you are an incredibly well-rounded lifter. I think that your recent deadlift and squat training surprised me the most. So I have to say, your total is shaping up quite nicely a couple of weeks out of Pro Raw. How do you feel about it?
Yeah, I'm pretty excited. Like this has been like probably one of my best preps to date. So um yeah, see what I can pull out of my ass on the day.
Yeah, well, you've had a
um
bit of movement, right? Like you've been weight class.
I've gone back up. So I cut down for Nightmare
Mm-hmm.
in what was that, October? And then yeah, so I've just like come back up now. So I put like 6 kilos on now. So it's been good.
Yeah, well, I was looking through the numbers, right? And so your bench press, which is something that people may not be aware of. If you aren't, Sarah has the heaviest female bench press in Australia, which I reckon is an awesome title, right? I benched the most in this country, which is sick. And it's 170, which I'm going to be honest, I feel like is pretty hard to squat personally. So I feel like that's a pretty awesome amount of weight to be able to press. You were like 104 when you did that, about?
Yeah, 104 pro last year, yeah.
Yeah. And so but your best total was at like 92.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that was like 280
That was
or
like
280, 285 on the squat.
yeah.
And then was that the 170? That wasn't the 170 bench. Sorry. That
No,
was like
I
160.
missed 170. I think I got 165.
Yeah. And the deadlift was 270.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. I would, yeah. Sorry. Did you know the total? I can't math that.
That's 720. That was that one.
Boom. There we go. And so trying to think of the weight class there then, because was that at Pro Raw?
No, that was at Nightmare. So that was like a WRPF. So I think I was just over 90 for that one. I think their weight classes are. I can't remember.
I get confused when they change them, and then
Yeah.
sometimes I watch IPF stuff, and then that ruins my brain entirely
Oh,
because they
that
got
they're even more
93s.
confusing.
Yeah, it's weird they chose 93, right? Can you imagine being 94? You would have been like, "Fuck, why did they
So
choose that?"
close.
But that's because that's crazy, right? So that's that total, and then what are you weighing in like at the moment?
I was like 96 this morning, so I put a bit on. Oh, 4 kilos on. So well, just to try and get like the maximum out of my total for pro roll. So
Yeah, but then
yeah,
you hit 285 on squat. Is that right?
yeah, yeah.
And then did you do 280 for a double on deadlift?
I did 285 for a single.
For a single? You must have been the week before. You must have done 270 for a double or something, did you?
Yeah. You tested my, yeah, 270 for a double. Yeah,
Yeah, so you'd hit the old PB for a double essentially.
yeah,
Very nice. What
yeah.
I haven't seen bench though. What's bench been like?
Bench is cruising. I've got like 160 for a single today, so we'll yeah, just cruise along. Bench is
Yep.
hard though. Bench is the hardest one I think to make progress on, but we'll see.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, how for you really, it's just like I guess kind of maintaining it and from what it was like that's the hard thing, right? Because you know what your best is at a certain weight. So it's always going to be like a comparison you'll make, kind of, right?
Yeah,
But then also you're going for the total. So it's a bit different. Like it's sort of like I guess the goal would be to just hit a PB total at Pro Raw.
yeah, correct. Yeah.
Yeah. And so do you ever feel like just chucking a slingshot on and doing a set of 10?
People always try to convince me to do like like with an equip shirt and then just to see what I can do, but I don't think I would have a panic attack for a bench shirt.
You're not a fan?
No, no,
Yeah, okay.
it looks awful just looking at it.
Doesn't look very nice, does it?
No.
It's yeah, I feel I mean, I think slingshots are just fun because they're so easy to use and they're kind of hilarious. Like they're just you kind of just end up all jacked up together and you kind of know you're not doing it, but you still feel proud of yourself. And so I feel like that's kind of a good thing. But I mean, you squat and wraps, right? So it's funny sometimes we like it's slingshots are not comparable to sorry wraps, but it's funny that slingshots are kind of so silly, but then we squat and wraps, right?
Yeah.
What kind of wraps do you use?
I use Titan THP wraps.
Are they fairly
Um,
stiff?
the THPs are, yeah. They're kind of like, yeah, they're not as thick as like the Elite Bridges are, but they're a bit like stiffer, yeah, I suppose.
I only ever used the Lily Bridges, and I was a fan of them, but it was hard because I hadn't really much to compare them to. But then it seems like the general consensus is they are a good wrap, but it's definitely a preference, right?
Yeah, everyone's different. And like I'm fortunate to be like sponsored by Titan and but I've always like worn their stuff and I've always loved their stuff. So
Have you used the
yeah.
new sleeves?
I haven't.
I have a pair, and I don't wear them. I wore them for a period of time, and then it's got to a point where I was just like, you know what? I had like a bad relationship with them. It would just be, it was like, I'd go to put them on, and then they would be like, "Come on, man, put me on," and I'd be like, "Look, it's just too hard for me now. I can't go through this anymore. It's just too much of a process." And then you'd put them on, and you would squat, and you'd be like, "Oh yeah, like this is good." Then you would take them off, and it was just like I was just like taking skin off the back of my knees and everything. I was like, "This is hectic." Like I feel
I
like
was
I
all
should.
wear wraps.
Yeah, that's what people kept saying. People would look at me walking them and be like, "Why are you walking like that?" And I'm like, "Is that's how bad it is?" But it's an interesting one. Like, do you think you'll ever try them?
I don't do a lot of squats and wraps. Sorry, squats and sleeves. So I just have like one of my old pairs that I pull out. But yeah.
Yeah, like there's a general consensus from people that are in wraps, right? It's like they're just sort of like, why would I even bother? If I'm going to put anything on, it's just going to be that.
Yeah, might as well just put wraps on.
Will you just squat in bare knees as you're warming up most of the time?
Yeah, I pretty much do like one or two bare knee warm ups and then I just wrap straight away. I wrap pretty early just to like get used to it, get in the swing of it.
And just loosely?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, okay. It'll be interesting to see how things go because the 285 looked good. Did you feel like you had a lot left?
Yeah, that felt really, it was really good. Like that was like I wrapped myself for that. Um, and I was using like a super old pair of wraps. So I've got one more heavy next week and like Gus will wrap me for that. And I've got like a brand new pair of wraps. So we'll see how that goes.
Feel like when it comes to powerlifting, the best thing you can do is to almost constantly create situations where there's multiple variables that inhibit you from doing your best. Like how many times have you heard someone, hit a number and they're like, oh, yeah, but I mean, it moved well, but it was a PB, but I was on a bench and it was actually raining outside and I hadn't eaten that day and I had one shoe on. And you're like, whoa, you're going to hit another 10
Crazy.
kilos. I love that though. When you hear these like horrible variables that people have like, and a part of the situation, you're like, man, you've got so much left in the tank. So that sounds like there's going to be a decent amount left then. And I'm assuming, are you going to be, is it just a newer pair of the same wraps or are you getting different? Like, do Titan have new ones?
No, same, just like a brand new pair. So they'll be nice and spicy.
Nice and fresh. That's what you, and so you self wrapped and that's not what you normally do at comp.
No, Gus normally wraps me at comp, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
How do you obviously you prefer that then? I found it uncomfortable more so just like from like a knee point. I feel like someone a couple of times happened to me. I felt like it wasn't that sort of great, but is it sort of just Gus has just kind of learnt what you can tolerate and how you like them?
Yeah, well, like because he's coached me for like 8 years now, so he pretty much knows me inside and out. So and like I rap the same way he raps, so like it's quite an easy transition, and then just saves my arms when I don't have to do it.
Yeah, well, at that point that you're at, right? It's like you've especially if you want to save some for bench, I can imagine you wouldn't want to be putting a shit ton of effort into it.
Yeah, yeah.
And so he's been coaching you for 8 years. How long have you been lifting for in total?
Powerlifting I've been doing for like this is my 10th year, so a while. Fuck, that makes me sound really old, but
I didn't look at your age because I'm a gentleman and I shouldn't ask you
thank you.
about how old are you, which is very ungentlemanlike.
I'm 28.
Oh, we're the same
So,
age. Look at that.
oh, look at that.
I
Cool.
sort of hate that though, because you say that, and then I'm like, fuck, why didn't I start sooner? I feel like I could have done so much more. See, it's the variable thing, right? I would have started sooner, but I was like, I smoked cigarettes for 3 years and I barely even tried. And if I
Yeah,
had have not done those things, I'd be benching 170 for sure.
exactly. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
you get it. I,
Yeah.
I
And you
mean,
still got time.
yeah, well, that's the good thing about powerlifting, right? It's like the senior citizen sport. Like you can do it till you, I mean, forever, really. I don't think there's a limit.
Yeah, no, I agree. So that's you got heaps of time.
Absolutely, yeah. And do you have what's like your kind of, what do you look at your powerlifting career like? Like, well, are you like, all right, I'm gonna try and hit this total in pro raw, and then is there any like goals that you can see in the future? Do you have like a 5-year plan?
Not really. I just keep ticking along. I just want to keep seeing like how far I can push myself and where we can go with it. And if there's no end date, we'll just keep going, I think.
I think I'm always
Until
expecting some answer from people, and then the biggest, strongest people that I speak to always have like the most like relaxed approach.
my, until my knees don't want to squat anymore, maybe that'll be the end date.
That's a good way to look at it. I mean, but there's some big goals for you to hit, right? Because I mean, I think I tried to look at it once, and I don't even know if it like counted or whatever, because I was trying to look at the squat record, like the all time female squat record. I think isn't it
Mhm.
like 305 or something like that?
I think it's about 320. I
It's
think.
320.
Yeah,
Jesus. Okay.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And so do you think that's within your realm in your career?
Oh, I mean, potentially, yeah. Um, it's crazy to think like that my squat's actually the one now that's like the most strongest out of them all. Like when I first started my squat, I used to bench what my squat was.
Oh, Jesus. Wow.
Yeah. Um, and now to have like my squat be close to that is pretty cool. But we'll see.
Yeah. I mean, that's weird, right? Because you sort of it depends on powerlifters are strange in the sense that there's always like a structure to it, and that's why I guess when I said you're well rounded because you've got kind of everything in a good spot. Where usually it's people are like freakish deadlifters, horrible squatters, and it's always like a combination. They're like either great at squat and bench, bad at deadlift, you know, great at deadlift and bench, bad at squatting, and then sometimes you just get people who are just like good at all three and it kind of reminds me of like Jamie, because I spoke to Jamie Morris a
Yeah,
little while ago. Similar structure to yourself, where like bench is good, and then squat and deadlift are kind of like climbing together.
yeah, yeah.
So it'd be interesting to see like where that goes because you've obviously just deadlifted more than 270. Do you think like a 300 deadlifts on the horizon as well?
I mean, yeah, potentially like it'd be hard to do in like a three lift comp, but um, be cool. Be cool to get it.
You just find like you get really exhausted by that by the time they come around.
Yeah, deadlifts are always pretty tough, hey, by the end of the day. Um,
Hmm.
like pro roll last year was tough. It was like two flights, and by the time it came to deadlifts, I was cooked. But yeah, we'll see. See what happens.
You ever thought about just like doing like the Yuri method and just going like 3 for 9 and just sending it on all your first attempts? It's to save energy, right?
Yeah, I mean, I know I haven't thought about it, but maybe I'll talk to Gus. Be like, hey,
I feel like he probably won't be a huge fan of the idea, but
no, he'll shake his head at me and just walk off probably.
but it does like I don't know. In theory, sometimes that sort of stuff sort of makes sense, I guess, because it's like it's so hard to like I don't know, do 9 good lifts where they're all great selections. Like I've commentated a few ones now, like and I did like states here last year and that where there's pretty strong people there. And like it's interesting always watching selection choices, and especially when they work out for people and then sometimes when they don't work out.
Yeah,
And it's like it'd be so hard to select them, all 9 of them perfectly so that you're not too exhausted.
yeah,
But
yeah.
what do you think that if someone was like, all right, like you have to give me like an estimation of like what your numbers are going to be or what total you think you've got in you for this comp in a couple of weeks, what would it be?
Uh, I'd be happy with like if I squat 300, bench 175, and then if I can pull like 290, like I'd be pretty happy with that.
That's fucking nuts. That'd be great.
I don't know what that total is.
I am usually good at this sort of thing, and I'm not great at it today. If 290 plus 175 carry the 10, hold on. All right, that's what are we looking at? 365. Did I do that right? Oof. No, 465, sorry. And then plus the 300, 765. Jesus, that's pretty up there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, so
okay.
like the all-time total for girls is like 772. So like obviously that would be that's like my long-term goal, but we'll see.
Who was that? Is that Christy Hawkins who did that?
April Mathis is that.
No, okay,
Yeah.
that's right. Christie's is like she's like 75s.
Yeah, which is also insane.
That's yeah, I don't really understand that sort of stuff. But I mean that's why with you, I guess it's even more impressive now that you've um come down a bit. Not that it's not impressive if people are heavier, like it's still always going to be this impressive, but it's just crazy to me when people are like under 100, doing stuff, and I'm just like, that's crazy, Like, I mean, it's if a dude's 125 and he's got 300, that's still awesome, right? But it's just like when you see someone do it at like 90 or something, or like 82 and a half or 75, you're like, Jesus, like
Yeah.
that's because you just must feel like it's going to snap you in half at that point, you know?
It's definitely it's a lot different. Like obviously because I was heavier for pro row and then cutting down, it's definitely a different like skill to learn, like being leaner. But
Yeah, it's all for squats, right? Because like the belly helps. I did when I squatted anyway.
yeah,
It's
for
yeah.
sure.
Do you
Yeah,
feel better though?
I do. Yeah. Yeah. Overall, like health and stuff, I feel a lot better.
Yeah, well, I mean, I guess it's one of those things where it kind of comes down to how far you want to push those things. And we kind of mentioned it before with another topic, but it's kind of like depends on what level of kind of like you're willing to like go to with weight. Because some people get super uncomfortable real quickly, and then some people can sit really heavy. So like obviously your sweet point is like even now, do you feel like you're probably carrying a bit more?
Yeah, I think my sweet point's like 94, 95. I think. I feel pretty good there. Um, I can breathe a lot better. I can sleep better too. But yeah, it's working though. Like my squat and bench are feeling really great. So it's
Yeah.
all a
Do
part
you
of it.
have sleep apnea?
I don't sleep very well. Yeah,
But you don't actually have sleep apnea
I
itself.
do. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But you don't treat it?
I've got a CPAP.
Ah, okay. And that doesn't like help,
It does. Yeah, if I wear it, it does help. Yeah.
but you don't like wearing it.
Nah.
Why not?
Feel like Darth Vader.
Yeah, but like surely it's I don't know. It's some people don't I don't know like it. You have a partner, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. And so does it bother them? Like just
I don't wear it then.
oh, you don't wear it. Okay. See, this is why a lot of people say they don't like wearing it because it's like noisy and shit as well, right?
It's
Yeah, but
embarrassing.
no, but surely if you sleep heaps better, it's worth it, right?
That yeah, it does.
Do you notice a massive difference?
Uh, Not a little bit. I do. Yeah. Just wake up not as tired. I don't have a sore throat from snoring.
But so what were you like when you were younger, right? Because it's always hard to tell, you know, after 10 years of lifting, right? It's like, um, I guess, like, were you a broad person when you were younger? Like, did you have that structure or is that like taking a lot of time?
Yeah, I've always been pretty broad. Always been pretty stocky. Um, like I used to play like football, like rugby and stuff at school, so I've always had like a fair bit of size. Yeah.
Did you used to like beat up on the boys?
I'd try to.
I reckon
Me
now
back,
you would.
yeah. When I played, like I was the only girl, so I had to try and like tough it out with the boys.
Yeah, okay, that would have helped. I would have thought there would have been some kind of rugby background. I don't know why I get that vibe, but it makes sense now that you say it,
Yeah,
to be fair.
yeah.
And then we just talked about before, how long were you a chef for?
I did my apprenticeship in like 2010, so like 14 years.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So you've been eating good.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, my food's basic. I make other people good food.
This is always the answer. It blows my mind. Someone's like, yeah, no, I professionally make food, but I eat like I have like three ingredients, like smashed in a bowl together. I'm like, why would you? Is there a reason that you don't cook like that for yourself?
When you do it all day, every day for like everyone else, you just get home and you're like, you know what? I just gonna have steak and rice.
I suppose it's. I mean, the other like thing is I guess as a chef, you realize how much fat goes into everything, so you can't really cook with like shit tons of oil and butter and stuff, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it'd be a hard. But I mean, when you gain a weight, it must be fun.
It makes life easier, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it would do. I feel like there's probably a lot of people like don't have the ability to at least make their food more interesting. And you probably laugh now when you see shit on Instagram, right? I imagine if you have that kind of background, you must just find it so funny if some guy pops up and throws out some kind of 5 ingredient overnight wheat bix or something like that, and you're like, "Oh wow, that's super innovative. How'd you come up with that?"
So crazy.
Yeah. Whoa. Oh my God. You blended it? Like,
Whoa.
yeah. And then it's like, and then there'll be like macros or something as well. And like, I love that sort of stuff because I think it's good for, it helps people, obviously, who like trying to, lose weight and stuff. But it's funny that we like, now it feels like we've kind of pigeonholed ourselves to like 2 or 3 things in this industry a little bit. Like people just eat the same. It's like overnight oats, or it'll be, I mean, if you want to go full old school bodybuilding style, people just eat like eggs and oats or something like that. And it's just like got it kind of got this like sort of same thing to it. But then for me, like I'm like, there's so many things that you can have. And it's funny that we just kind of go to those 2 things. But I suppose it's similar to what you said with steak and rice. It's like, it's simple when it works. So I get it, I
Yeah,
guess.
yeah.
But I mean, I like meat for breakfast. You know what? If you're having a breakfast and it's got nothing to do with training, let's say it's just like a normal day. Well, what are you kind of going for?
I'm pretty basic, hey. Like my food's pretty vanilla. I just have like eggs and toast for breakfast.
How many
It's
eggs?
nothing exciting. 4.
Okay. Shout out to Alana, who I had a couple episodes ago. She would love that answer because she told me she has 6 eggs on toast every day.
Jesus, she fucking trumps me.
Yeah. But I mean, here's the thing, right? It's like it's if you like eggs, I love eggs. So for me, when someone doesn't, this is what I mean. If someone's like eating overnight oats every day or something like that, I'm like, how do you do it? I like to me, I love eggs. They're like a breakfast food, you
Yeah,
know? And like I'll have kangaroo with my breakfast too. I like that. And
yeah,
so to me, it's like, why wouldn't you kind of mix? So when someone says something like that, or just even oatmeal on its own, I'm like, oh, it's a bit
yeah,
depressing, isn't it? Don't you think?
yeah,
Well, hang on
yeah.
a second, because Sarah can get way better, right? You can grab a scoop of protein, mix it in, and then
Wow.
whoa, that'll blow your mind. And if you really want to shit the bed, put some fucking honey in it as well, and you won't even know
You're
yourself.
crazy. You're crazy.
Oh, look,
Frozen blue. At least there's some frozen blueberries on there.
oh, look, if you take it to that level, I don't think I can even handle it anymore. Frozen blueberries, nothing appeals to me more than something that's going to slowly be defrosting and then making me realize just how shit the quality of the blueberry is. It's just, did you wait till these were going half off before you froze them or what? This is what I mean. I understand the convenience factor, but I'm like, to me, I can't. Sometimes my boss, who'll be like mixing, it'll be like muesli, yogurt, protein powder, and then the frozen berries, and it's all going together. And I'm just looking at it, and I'm like, I can't do it. It just
I, s-
looks so clunky,
I saw one the other day. It was like a bowl of cereal with a protein shake added on top. I'm like, just have milk, bro.
right? I've seen people do that, and you're like here's it. Do you ever look at a food and you almost the question when you look at how they've made it is like, are you trying to go to the toilet? Like, is that what you're trying? You know what I mean? Like, are you backed up and you're just like, I'm just going to put all the fucking dairy and everything I can into this shit and just make it happen? Like, because I'm just like, especially protein products, man, how bad are they? Hey, they've always got the craziest sugar alcohols in them. And my missus will be like, I'm so bloated today. It must have been, the carbs or something. And I'm like, well, I mean, the carbs you had were like fruit or something. And I'm like, but you did have like a protein bar that the ingredients list is like this long and takes up the whole size of the bar. Yeah, like maybe there might be some shit in that that's probably making you feel a bit bloated.
Probably, yeah. But
Yeah,
they're
well,
protein bars, so they're good for you.
that's the other thing. I almost got it wrong then, you know what I mean? Because I was like, and then I was like, actually, it's protein inherently just good for you. And don't worry about where it comes from, collagen, whey, it's all the same shit.
Yeah.
It's just make sure that you have 30 to 40 grams of it every 2 hours. It's the funny thing for me is that you mentioned that your food's basic, and I like it because I love that people don't want to hear it. They're like, no, she's so fucking strong. She must be doing something hectic and having awesome, perfect pre-workout meals and tracking all their minerals. Do you even track food?
Yeah, no, I do. Gus like gives me macros. It has all the breakdowns and stuff, which I just track.
What do you use to track it?
It's like app called Chronometer. However
Fuck
you say it.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I like
Yeah,
that app.
no.
It's a good
Yeah.
app.
She's on it. She's on it,
Yeah,
guys. Did you hear that? She's a chronometer because this is good because chronometer is I came across it a little while ago and then me and Connor got on it and now I can't look back. It's so good.
yeah, yeah. It's a great app. So yeah, he just gives me my macro targets and stuff, and I just hit them.
It's important. Sometimes you're getting halfway through your day and things aren't going too well, and you realize you've only had 46% of your vitamin A intake, and you're like, that's why. That's why right there. I need more vitamin A, and then my whole day will get better. And then you can pinpoint that, and I like that because I feel like everyone keeps on focusing on those numbers, and then they're putting milk in cereal. I'm like, bro, the micros aren't good on that. It's a vanilla protein shake in cinnamon toast crunch.
What
I'm
do
not
you
gonna
mean?
I'm not gonna lie, that does sound pretty good actually. It's my favorite thing is that the protein shakes always have like 900% calcium daily intake, and you're like, I feel like maybe this is a bit much. Like, do I need this much calcium? Like, I better have bones of steel after this because that's heaps. But hey, yeah, either way, you track the food, which is interesting. Do you know what your macros are at the moment?
I have like it's most days are 210 grams of protein, and training days are Jesus, I should remember. Nearly like 600 grams of carbs and like 100 grams of fat. It's a typical day.
That's beautifully balanced. 100 grams of fat versus like 60. Fuck, there's a difference, eh?
Huge difference. Yeah.
Yeah. So much more. What would you say is the main difference for you? Like if you've had your fat low when you're trying to cut weight versus where it is when it's a bit higher, what's like a food that's included that you can't eat or you just avoid eating when you're cutting?
I've been having like a lot of cheese at the moment, so I typically probably wouldn't have cheese if I was cutting. So it's been nice to have some cheese.
Eating cheese on its own, or is there a combination you go
Now
for?
I make like cheesy garlic bread with my dinner.
Fuck yeah. See, that's you are a chef at heart. You can tell. That's where it is. Give us a quick rundown. Give us a quick 4-step ingredient influencer Instagram recipe for that garlic bread. I'd love to hear it.
So I have like garlic oil that I make, and then I put that in the pan, toast the little bread in the garlic oil, and then just salt, pepper, and cheese on top.
And when you toast the cheese on the garlic bread, does that go in the oven to do that?
No, I just leave it in the pan, just put like a lid on the pan and it melts in the pan.
See, that sounds unreal. I have to try that. That sounds very, very good. What kind of
It's
bread
good.
do you going for? You going for like big crusty roll kind of shit?
No, I usually just get like sourdough, like a sourdough from the shops. Yeah.
There you go. Sarah
Yeah.
Rainbow special
Garlic
recipe right
bread.
there. Are you going to do nutrition coaching? Like, because you said you started coaching now.
Yeah, ultimately I would like to. Obviously I can put the two together, like being a chef and um like nutrition's always been important to me. So I think yeah, ultimately.
I think it's like it would be kind of cool. Like it obviously would work in with what you're doing, and then that way you could come up with some really cool recipes for people, or obviously just overnight oats. There's probably
And protein powder.
and protein, and then you can be like protein. See that protein shake? Just pour it in your cereal. People will be like, "Fuck, this is a game changer." My
So we get protein.
it's so easy. It's like, and then it's like, you go to the toilets every 10 minutes after a meal, but at least you're getting your protein in, and then
Hey,
you have
maybe
to.
we're the ones missing out.
Well, you've got a point. I mean, the first time I heard of it was someone said that they were putting, and I remember hearing this, right? And there's two occasions it made me feel depressed for someone else. I was in I was in my office one day at work, and me and one of my mates had just done an extremely high intensity bench session, 3x3 with like, accessories that we sleepwalk through. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then we decided that after all that energy expenditure, which was heaps, right? We were like, let's get 2 Whoppers for $7 because we need the calories back in. We just worked
Yeah.
heaps hard.
Yeah, of course.
You get it, right? And so I was pumping that, and a guy walked in and he had like the microwave cup of rice and a can of tuna and put it in a bowl together and was eating it. And he looked at us and went, "Nah, it's not that bad." And then I saw his face change, and he just went, "Fuck, I wish I was eating that Whopper." And I was like, "Here's the thing. I'd love to tell you that it's not that good, but it's fucking incredible." And that tuna and rice looks disgusting. It was a funny moment, but this is another one of those things. This guy told me, oh, I'm having rice bubbles, but what I do is I get Rule One protein powder, the tastiest of all protein powders, and I mix it with water, and then I use that as the milk in the rice bubbles. I don't know about that. What do you reckon?
I think that sounds awful.
There you go. We
Yeah,
we got Sarah's
no.
tick of approval on that. I just
I think a protein shake in anything sounds awful, to be honest, though.
do you not have protein shakes at all?
Very rarely.
It's such a common theme, eh? You speak to all the top athletes. We live in it like this world and this industry of everything's just like all these different things. And then you speak to people who are the strongest people in the world or they have the best aesthetics in the world, and they're like, yeah, nah, I just like shop at Audi, eat normal food, and don't have supplements. And you're like, what the fuck? Like it just shows you that like everyone is so obsessed with all these like other little things to kind of sprinkle on top of everything when it's like you just gotta nail the basics, right?
Yeah, yeah. I'll have one like every so often if I'm running late or whatever, but very rarely will have. Yeah.
What's it like in Brisbane? If you go for one, is there like a regular one you go for? I wonder if you got different ones than we do.
I'm sponsored with like Purist Labs, so I get use their stuff if I do. They,
Oh, you mean like the powder?
yeah, yeah. Um, and they're like, to be honest, they're pretty good protein shakes if I ever need one.
Yeah. Well, I mean, here's the thing. I'm pretty flat out. Like I'm busy. Like I'm that guy that's how you're busy. I'm heaps busier. That's me. And every time someone asks me how I am, I tell them how busy I am. And then if they ever bring up how busy they are, I'm straight away I'm busier, and I'm telling them about it. Right. It's the whole conversation. So I just buy ones from Supplement Mart and shit,
Yeah,
and just do that. And then that I feel like I can justify slightly more because it's even more convenient. But the ones I get are made with skim milk, and I'm halfway through them, and I'm usually regretting drinking it halfway through. It just tastes like really watery milk.
yeah.
So maybe I have to try the Purest Labs one. Is there a flavor? Is it like or are you just a vanilla gal? Probably vanilla.
Mostly vanilla. Yeah, it's chocolate sometimes if I'm feeling, a bit, mostly
You
vanilla.
you really want to venture out there? You go for the chocolate. Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
crazy.
Okay.
Hey.
Yeah. I mean, considering everything is like choc chip, cookie dough, all these different flavors now, chocolate actually is pretty standard. So that's probably a good safe bet. But I
Yeah,
mean, it's good to know that you're fueled by hard work and the basics, because that means that everyone out there can strive to be the same.
yeah.
And so, is there any kind of, I guess, main thing or I guess advice that you give to lifters if anyone sort of like is in it and they're training and they're kind of maybe just doing all the standard stuff, maybe they're training 3 or 4 times a week, squat, bench, deadlift. Is there things that you kind of recommend people to focus on? Like, is it kind of trying to get advice from others, or do you tell them to, I don't know, maybe recommend they go to seminars? Did you do much of that when you were younger?
Yeah, I think like being like a sponge and being open to everyone's um like what people have to say and like listening to like most of the people. I think like and just like take your time with it too, like I see a lot of people like rushing, trying to like short-term gain. I think like powerlifting especially is like a long-term game that, you know, just keep plodding along, I think.
I mean, we mentioned this before, and so we don't have to go into details into certain areas, but just your opinion on like how it is then with kind of people like taking probably enhancements too far these days. Do you think that's probably something people do to kind of cut corners like too much? Like, because I feel like I see a lot of it, but then at the same time, because I don't use any, I'm like I'm probably biased. Do you think people are probably cutting corners a bit too much?
Maybe not cutting corners, but just trying to like fast track things that they probably shouldn't fast track, or they take things to like mask other things. Whereas like you probably could have just, not had your protein shake on cereal and just ate properly. You know what I mean? Like that's what
Yeah.
probably I see the most of.
Yeah, it's a big one, hey, because some people like I know some people who have done horribly in terms of like nutrition and sleep, and then yeah, they've sort of jumped on a cycle and then they're still getting stronger in it. It's I'm not gonna lie, it's kicking the guts when you don't do it. You're a bit like fuck, like why am I doing all the basic stuff and I could just jump on a cycle and then just not sleep properly and just like eat protein shake on cereal. You know what I mean? And then I'd be killing it.
Yeah, but it'll only last for like it'll only like be a short term thing too. It'll only work for so long before you have to actually sleep and eat properly too. Like it's not a magic thing just to mask everything else.
Yeah, that is true. It's not long term, but I guess that's why you see people come in and out of it. You know, you don't see people that last. I mean, people like yourself train for over 10 years or been in it for over 10 years or 8 years have been competing, you said.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not a short period of time, you know, if you and you wouldn't have continued making the progress that you have. So there's I guess those aspects to it. But it's just more of like powerlifting, I think it's kind of surprised me the more that it is now. Like, I don't know, we all know that it's in the sport, but it's interesting now how many people are doing it. You know, I spoke to just two girls the other day who I've just known for a couple of years, and they decided to sort of take that step. And I was like, wow, like you were two people I'd never expected to, maybe not never expected, but it was surprising to me that they felt the need to, just simply because I don't know, maybe it doesn't depend on what level they were at, but I felt like once again, it was just like I feel like there's a level of where people kind of lose the interest of the lifting and actually enjoying the powerlifting and just enjoying training, and they have to be like doing this, you know.
Yeah.
And I get it to an extent, but I feel like that's probably where some people maybe end up having a tough relationship with it. Like, have you ever kind of had those points, like low points, where you get a little bit? Because I see it with powerlifters sometimes, right? Even at a high level, they kind of lose the ambition a bit because they're like, "Fuck, all I feel like I'm doing is just trying to be better constantly."
Uh, I wouldn't say I no, I wouldn't say I lost it. Like I just keep like plodding along, and then um yeah, I don't know. I don't think so.
No, no,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, I mean, not everyone can be as level-headed as you, Sarah. So you've got a very chilled approach, which is great. It's good. It's good. But you know what I mean, because you would have, I guess, at least seen other people go through it, right? Like people sometimes just, it's almost like a bit of an identity crisis. People hit a wall sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, I feel like maybe it can have to do with what you were talking about. Maybe they fast track stuff or they're just trying to focus on those things. And then some people don't even do that. But I feel like it's just like they get to a point where they're a little bit like, what am I doing it for again? And maybe they lose the love of the training.
Yeah. Yeah. I think like people, and I think like social media probably hasn't helped with like a lot of that stuff, right? Like people they have this expectation that they have to be the best thing yesterday. Um, Whereas like I think like I've always just been happy just to like plod along and better myself rather than, like I don't really try to compare myself to like others, and I just do my own thing.
I feel like we could all learn to be, hashtag be more like Sarah almost. It's a bit like that, eh? Because you're going to be more chilled. And I've definitely gotten better over the years. It's crazy to how I don't know, how analytical we can be when we're like teenagers, and you can maybe get caught up in stuff. But it's definitely good that you're at a spot where that's kind of how you feel about it, especially when you're at where you're at, because you are close in a lot of regards to like some of the biggest numbers ever. I don't know about other numbers. I was trying to think about that before actually, because we talked about the squat, and I'll have to check that out in open powerlifting. It's 320 or something like that. But what
I think
about
it's
the
Yeah, 320. Bench is like 200, so that's a long way to go.
You reckon, but you reckon that's completely, you reckon that's out of reach, or you reckon you get there?
Oh, if I can give it another 10 years, maybe.
It'd be a hard one. It would be. It's
Yeah.
what about you just have to get heavier though, really, right? You'd probably just have to get heavier for that bench again.
Yeah, maybe I'll get to 200 and then I'll bench 200 as well.
No, body weight bench. That's always impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice. What about deadlift though? Because that's actually not that much higher, right? Because isn't the record like 290 something?
Yeah, 291 is the deadlift record.
What'd you do the other day? 285.
Yeah.
Mate, you got that in the bag. You reckon you'd go for the record if you're feeling good on the day? You reckon you might just be like, fuck it, 292.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Yeah, we'll see. Just depends how the day is. Like the all-time total is like my biggest goal. So if I'm close to that, we'll keep pushing to that. But if I'm not, then yeah, we'll probably just go nuts.
292 would be crazy. That'd be like a really good, and that'd be a kick-ass way to start off the coaching, right?
Yeah, that'd be not bad.
Yeah. You're like, hey, look, you don't have to get coached by me, but like, I'm the best deadlifter in the world, just in case you're interested in that. You know, that'd be a good way to start, right?
I mean, it could be worse ways, right?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I mean, and
Could
so
be
that,
selling
that,
my overnight oats.
well, you could be selling your overnight oats. I mean, to be fair, and this isn't a shot at anyone that's doing it because people can do whatever they want, but there's a lot more you could be selling that could be a lot worse. You know what I mean? So but I think we live in a weird, like such an interesting time now. Like it's so crazy now what people make money from. I know people that make money and they can look me in the eye and explain how they make that money, and I still don't understand it. I'm like, wait, so you what? You do something on the internet and you move this something to there and then this, and then they're like, yeah, and then I get like paid for like moving that, and then I have to like maintain like this website thing, and then that, and I'm like, and you make like a living, and they're like, yeah, and I'm like, what, how? Like, how are you making money off something so weird and small and just kind of random? And they're like, one of my mates has made like almost 50 grand in like crypto, and I'm like, what is going on? It's not even real. Like, and then I'm like, take it out, take the money out, so you've got the money, and he's like, nah. No, no, because it could be more. And I'm like, but it's nothing right now because it's imaginary. Until you take it out, it's in your bank account. You don't own it. No, but what if it goes up to 60? And I'm like, what's, how much money did you put in the beginning? He's like 6 grand. And I'm like, how did it go from 6 to 30? It's not worth anything. I don't understand. People in the 1960s were shining people's shoes and shit and having conversations with them to make money. You know? Now you got
that's
people doing Instagram videos for money. It's
that's wild.
it is wild, isn't it? I mean, it's even for you, right? You just worked 14 years as a chef. Are you kind of like excited about coaching for a living? It must be a totally different schedule.
Yeah, it's nice to have like some time for like free time and not be stressed like 24/7 and actually do something that I actually love, which is nice.
Well, yeah, you could do like more with the food now, right? Because you're not doing it all day every day. So now you could probably
Yeah,
put a bit more effort in. Maybe you could do like a Sarah cooking show.
I could. Yeah,
You could do call it like
I could wear my soft suit as I'm cooking.
right.
Yeah,
That's we got to think of like there must be like a cool name. There's got to be like a cool name, like a that we can think of it like a I don't know. I'm thinking of different words like what are words for being strong? Anabolic kitchen or something like that. I think that's already a name, maybe, but you could come up with something.
surely.
Yeah. Oh, that's a funny one. There's a cookbook in America, Anabolic Kitchen, and a guy makes, I tried it once. He makes French toast with, you would vomit at this, I think. It was half a loaf of white bread. And I can't remember what else he put with it. It was like 3 ingredients. I think he did half a loaf of white bread, used some like sugar-free syrup, and then used like fucking 12 egg whites. And I cooked it one day.
Yeah.
I was like half, but it was crazy. It was like 70 protein, 3 fat. And I was like, those macros are so good.
So good.
I was like halfway through eating it. I was like in so much pain. And I was like, but once I finish consuming this, the protein's so worth it.
Be
And
so jacked after.
I did not feel any more jacked. And I'm pretty sure I just went to the toilet straight away anyway. I was like, what am I doing? But you can come up with the better recipes, right?
Yeah, that's actually a good one. I like it.
Yeah,
Could
you
do a
could do it.
cookbook.
Yeah, you could. And the thing that pisses me off, right? Can you answer this question? How come when you guys do recipes, I have to have, you know how when you walk into the supermarket and you got the seasonings aisle, you know, and all the herbs and shit, spices, you know how there's like 200 of them there? How come when I need to make a recipe, I have to have fucking all of those in my house? Can you
Flavor,
answer that?
flavor.
But how am I meant to have all of them? It's so many, and they're like $2 each. Is what do I do? What's your advice? Do I just get the all-purpose one? It's you can't
It's all for the
identify the flavor
flavor.
if it tastes like everything, right?
Well, I mean, surely that'll work, right?
Well, I mean, like, okay, so let's say you've got Sarah's five essential. People are going to forget you're a powerlifter at this point because we're talking way too much about food. If you have five essential herbs and spices, right? Say you can only have five in your house. What are you going for to like cover some bases?
I'd probably go paprika. I would have chili, either like chili ground or chili flakes. Probably like a garlic powder, onion powder,
Solid.
and then fifth, probably cinnamon. Can do a lot with cinnamon, I reckon.
Cinnamon's probably a good one. I was waiting for like a mixed herbs. You know what a mixed herbs guy?
Now you're gonna have fresh herbs.
What do you mean? I just did mixed. I just do my potatoes. I put mixed herbs on that shit, and then Nando's have brought out their own like I don't know what it is. It's like their salt or the peri peri stuff.
Yeah.
Here's a little tip for you, a little cooking tip from myself. That shit goes on everything.
Yeah, well, see, there you go. That's your all-purpose. That's your herbs that you need.
Yeah, that's all you need. And I mean, look, I'm trying to learn how to use a couple more of them, but all I'm saying is that's a lot of cupboard space.
Yeah.
It's it's a lot of, you know what I mean? And I feel like once again, you're eating steak and rice. So like, do you still have all those herbs at your house for just when you decide to bust them out?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. In the cupboard. They stay in the cupboard though.
You're like, it's all the flavor, and I use none of it. Oh, well,
I'm
that's
basic girl, salt, pepper, that's all you need.
salt and pepper actually is a game changer though. It's funny how many people avoid it. I like some salt on everything.
Yeah.
It's hands down, you gotta just salt on everything. The only other thing I found once, you love this, and I don't know where I can get it again, but I came across some like nacho cheese seasoning. That shit was a game changer. It,
That's
like, yeah. Did you ever see the old videos of Ronnie Coleman when he used to eat his eggs and he used to put this like orange cheese
yeah.
powder in with it? Just like that.
See, that's the secret.
It
That's
must
the
have been.
secret we're missing out on.
It's the all purpose nacho cheese. Put on anything. You know,
Beautiful.
we'll have to maybe look at that. I mean, I'm gonna give you a bit of a speed round because I feel like we're finding out so much about you, and maybe then we'll talk a little bit more powerlifting, maybe. And so I'm gonna hit you with some of these ones then. So if you're gonna have some food, like if you're gonna eat out, let's make it real morbid and say like it's your last meal because you're gonna, I don't know, fall down a landslide afterwards.
Yeah, cool.
You're gonna squat 321 kilos, and then as you lock it out, you're gonna explode at the top, right? And everyone will be
What a way
like,
to go.
yeah, right. And I like to think this in a weird kind of way that there's kind of chalk on you and a few different things and different colors and stuff that you're wearing. So when you explode it, it's like a rainbow as well. You know, that would be really cool.
Can you just load like a few more reds on the bar though, so at least it makes you look cooler?
Oh yeah, no, if you're gonna do it, you might as well go for 400 at that point and
Yeah,
just
yeah,
explode at the bottom. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
perfect.
And the thing is, right, is that when you do that as well, people, right, the parameters and the variables can come back in it again, and someone will be like, if she hadn't have exploded, she definitely would have got that. If you're gonna have takeaway, right, if you're gonna go for a shit meal, what's it gonna be?
I'm a sucker for like a good burger and chips.
Fucking,
Yeah,
that's a textbook powerlifter answer, right?
yeah.
Burger and chips.
Good old
It's
cheeseburger and chippies.
cheeseburger and chips. You can't go wrong, eh?
Yeah,
It's I've been doing kangaroo burgers. You need to give them a go.
fancy.
Yeah, it's very well fancy in the sense that they're cheaper than regular. They're actually only $7. I don't know what they're like over there, but it's so cheap here. So
That's good.
yeah, and the macros are wicked. Just in
Yeah.
case you care about that. It's 21 protein, too fat, but yeah, they're great. Um, burgers. Okay. I don't know why I didn't expect that answer. That's probably, I was expecting something so crazy. Like you were going to be like, oh, like prawns on steak and garlic
Nah,
sauce
nah,
and
nah,
none of that. None of that.
nah, nah.
Interesting. Okay. If let's do some training related. Now, if you could train with anyone for a day, who would you train with? Is there any like people in the States or anything that you'd be like, fuck yeah, it'd be cool to train with them?
I would love to train with like Bev Francis. Oh, she's old school, but I think what she did like back in the day was pretty cool. So to be train with her would be cool.
That's a cool answer. I've not. Some people. I've had like six people say Arnold, and I'm like,
Yeah,
it's like whatever. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like, but Bev Francis is a fucking cool answer.
yeah.
That would be awesome.
Or
That
I
would
think
be,
like prime time, like Eric Lillywhich or something would be pretty cool too.
yeah, that'd be pretty cool. You mean when he was at like his reddest? You
Yeah,
know? Oh yeah, that's when he was like when he was like on fire, right? Like he had heat coming off him. That
yeah,
was yeah, like the 484, 483 that he did in
yeah,
the gym.
yeah,
That would have been unreal to be around that, right?
yeah.
Yeah, okay. And that's he did live in Australia for a long time, didn't
Yeah, he did. Yeah, I
he?
think he was
Yeah.
down like Canberra, or down that way, wherever he was.
Yeah, okay. Well, I've noticed you got a bodybuilder in the background there, but I can't quite make out who it
It's
is.
that's Bev.
Oh, it is Bev. Okay, because
Yeah,
it's really blurry on mine, so I actually
yeah,
can't see. There you go. There's that. That's awesome. So
yeah,
you follow bodybuilding then, obviously.
yeah. Bodybuilding's like why I started training like years and years ago. Typical like split. Thought I was going to be massive. I think I trained chest like 3 days a week, legs once because yeah, don't need to train legs. Um, but yeah, that's why I started.
I still don't train legs. It's I have debilitating back pain, but it's to prove a point, you know.
Yeah,
Like I don't need it, you know. And like, here's the other thing, and a little bit of a trick that I'm gonna share with you is that if you don't train legs, you just look bigger. Your upper body looks even bigger.
yeah, perfect. That's great.
Yeah, you.
Yeah,
It's all about angles, man.
yeah,
Right?
yeah. I like that.
Yeah, and it's just if you don't mind sweating profusely, you just wear trackies year round.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it
It's all
doesn't.
right.
I'm fine with it. You know, it works for me. But I mean, each to their own. We're all different.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, okay, that's pretty cool. I feel like that's like a cool way to start as well because it keeps you like more health conscious. I think when you start, like if you do bodybuilding first, because that's why you're all steak and rice, right?
yeah. Oh, I just like eating plain foods. I
What steak do you go for? What's like what cut are we going for?
usually just get like a ribeye or I fillet.
Very
Yeah,
nice.
yeah.
It's if you didn't know any of this stuff about Sarah, you're going to be able to write a fucking biography on her after this because we're finding out all of it. What about like competing powerlifting wise though? Like, is there someone that you would like? Would you like to compete at? I don't know, maybe like Showdown or something someday.
Yeah, over in America would be cool. Like the girls over there are wild. I think
Mm.
like what Hunter and like and all them are doing over there is pretty cool. So I think like that'll be on the cards for like next year maybe. But
That'd be
we'll
pretty
see.
cool. What's the other one? I'm thinking of another one. There's Showdown
There's
and there's
Ghost. Is it Ghost? Yeah,
Ghost Clash. Yeah. Would you
yeah,
like to look at some more money meets?
yeah, yeah. I don't think I'd be in a chance for over there because the girls are wild, but be cool just to go over there for the experience, I think.
Are they though? I'm confused. Like, you would still be doing it pretty well over there though, wouldn't you? What's
Uh, I don't know. I think their dots would be probably more than mine.
I forget dots are like the kind of main. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
How do you feel about points? Do you like that system that we use?
I like going from total. I think biggest totals I like more than dots, but
Right?
probably because that is swings my way.
You
Dots
just got to
isn't very forgiving on me, but we'll see.
you just got to use the age old like arrogant Australian response anyway. Just there's no dots in the jungle, you know. It's yeah. It's what I know what you mean. Like I get why they kind of use it. I mean, like Gloss Brenner was one. I just remember us trying to talk about it one day, and I just couldn't. I was just, I can't get my fucking head around this. I don't get it. That person lifted more than that person. Do we not care about that? And we were like, yeah, but and I'm like, oh no, this is confusing. I just felt like it was easier when we just focused on that. But I understand that it sort of goes. Because me, it gets confusing as well. It's almost like for women, it's a bit higher, and then if you're old, you're killing it. Like if you're the older you get, then your points just skyrocket.
Yeah, and it's kind of skewed a bit more to like lighter girls as opposed to like heavier girls and stuff as well. But
Yeah. Okay. So what total wise, you'd probably be doing pretty well over there, though, wouldn't you? I feel like you're really up there. Like,
yeah, I think total wise, yeah. But a lot of those ones over there are on dots overall. But
yeah,
with that matter, like I'd just go. It'd be a cool experience to be over there. I think. I think
yeah.
America looks wild.
Does look wild. Do you reckon you'd shoot some shit? You like guns?
Yeah, just go like Texas for a week after or whatever. And be a cowboy.
That'd be awesome, right? I just want like a, I don't even know. I just want like a, those guns that you don't even hold like normal guns, like or like a weird Tommy gun or something. I just want something like that, and just fucking, I just want to shoot a, I don't even know, a car or something. I just want to go crazy. That'd be
Just
cool.
something. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
just, just prep, just 300 shitty half broken Tupperware containers of overnight oats and just fucking mow them down. And just have like three dudes in stringers just like crying, no, the macros, what are you doing? Just
My oats.
yeah, they'd be spewing, they'd be devastated.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, okay, that's a cool one. I feel like that'd be cool to go over there and do. Have you ever been to Perth in the
I
isolated
haven't.
city?
No, I haven't actually.
No? Are
No.
you
I was gonna
desperate to
come
get over
over.
here?
I was gonna come over. Was it Nationals that was over there a couple of years ago? Maybe. I don't know. There was a
Oh,
comp.
the GBC one.
Yeah,
We did have nationals actually over like 2 years ago, maybe.
yeah. I was gonna do that, but I don't know. I ended up doing something else instead. But Perth looks it looks cool from like over here. It looks cool.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say over there looks cool from over here. So it kind of works out. But I mean, it depends on, I suppose there's a few, I guess we still have like GBC and stuff like that. We have a pretty big capo states here, but I don't
Yeah,
know if you could ever do that. You couldn't because you're different federation, right?
I'm not with any federation now, so I just have to join. I'd have to join Capo.
Maybe you could just do like a appearance thing anyway, right? Because if the
Yeah,
competition wasn't here, which it unlikely probably wouldn't, you wouldn't have too much competition here, but you could just do like a cool thing where you come out and fucking deadlift 300 or something and then just eat a burger and chill out.
sounds good to me.
Is that something you'd ever look at doing? Like, I guess like seminar based kind of stuff? Would you ever do like workshops or anything?
Yeah, I guess if there's like a market and stuff for it, be cool. Yeah,
That'd
yeah,
be pretty cool. Like you could do like, um, I don't know, like a kind of themed one and do like a, I don't know, like seminar with Sarah on. You could do a bench press seminar. I reckon that'd be cool.
yeah,
That'd be
yeah. Well,
cool.
here we go.
Yes.
Can make some money off it.
Yeah, getting somewhere. I'm the promoter. You heard it here first. All right. I want 2%. I want 2% of that sweet overnight money. Yeah. I mean, here's the thing. I think that bench press that would actually be on a serious level, there would be some cool stuff there because you've obviously got that record in Australia, but also, as you said, to even begin with, it's always been a good lift for you. So, it'd be interesting to see you break it down, I think, for a lot of people in person and to talk about some of the things that you find worked for you and then like maybe some of the things that are you training clients yet or
Yeah, yeah. I've got a few clients now. Yeah,
so you can kind of, I guess, use that as well and see what's working for other people.
yeah.
And that's a good question with the bench press. Is there like a thing that you think's maybe a really good secondary lift or accessory for the bench press? I feel like we see that over the years. It's always been about do this, Larson press, Spoto. Is there like a big one for you that you think is really important?
I think like as we've gone along, I think we've just it's just honestly just bench more and just get like I don't think there's a real variation that really carries over. Well, obviously that like there's parts, but I think it's just like bench more and just get as jacked as you can, especially for girls. Like I think the more upper body mass you can have helps.
I like that answer because I was wondering if it's either between that or having like a foam roller on your chest with your feet off the floor and like not quite touching the foam roller, making sure you're protracted at the same time as well, doing that for sets of 4x4
And with
is
one wrist wrap on.
one wrist wrap on and with a tempo, and then also making sure that you rest way too long in between as well,
Yeah,
because of this. The setup takes so long to set up,
yeah, yeah. Sounds
and
good.
do it at 40% of your 1 rep max, and then that'll carry
Yeah,
over to
that sounds
being
good.
stronger. Yeah, like less
Maybe I'll
equals
try that.
more.
I'll
Yeah,
try that. Yeah.
dude, 200's on the horizon.
No,
I
obviously
feel
there's
like
like there's variations in certain points of time that have carried over or benefit at that point in time. But I think honestly just like benching more and yeah, just getting jacked.
isn't it
Um
funny that the answer is just doing the thing,
yeah. And just do
right?
it better.
Yeah,
Just
that's
try
what we got
and
to say to people. Just do it better than you're doing it.
yeah, just like moving, like focusing on like technique and moving well, I think, as opposed to doing like 64 different variations, I think is what helps.
You think 63 variations is the key? If you were to choose,
Mate,
if you were to choose one though, what would it be?
this prep, like I've really enjoyed like floor press. Like I've had some like really heavy floor press, like barbell floor press. Because at the moment, like that's my weak point is like I can get it off my chest, but like that transition to lockout has been like harder. So like yeah, some heavy floor presses have been good.
You ever thought about doing dumbbell skull crushers with 3.5% of the weight that you can bench, and maybe that would carry over?
Maybe I can try that. I'll try that next prep,
I've
and
heard that that's
I'll let you
really
know how that
effective.
goes.
Yeah, yeah. Super effective. I've heard that people
Yeah,
seem to, and you got to do sets of 20, 3 sets of 20. So the load's even lighter.
I don't think I can count to 20.
It's counting to 20 would suck on any rep
Oh,
range. Ugh.
I'd get confused. I'd forget where I am.
Just start again, go back to one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of it. I have a client at the moment, and we just discovered it this morning, who is horrendous if we go over. Like if we go 10 to 12, it just performance drops off. And then literally anything 6 to 8, she's like happy with. And then sometimes when she gets 8, if she feels good, she'll then go for the 10. But if I actually say to her 10 to 12 or 12 reps for something, just like gives up at 8. She's like, I just automatically give up at 8. And I'm like, well, then let's just do 8.
Yeah.
And then she does well. So
Yeah.
maybe it's a mental thing.
Not
I
fun. Not 20 though.
20, yeah, 20 can go away. That's a gross amount. You know what I mean? Would it be Tom Platz? Fuck that. That's ugh. I am gonna say if you've got like one song, you get a PR song, you get like a PR song or like a wedding song. Is there like a song that just bang? It's my jam.
At the moment I've been going through like Amity. I don't know, just been listening to them. And there's been a couple of their songs. So yeah.
Have you heard their rendition of "Love Is a Battlefield" by Pat Benatar?
I haven't.
Dude, it's so good.
Okay. I'll
It's
have to listen to
Don't tell anyone, but I listen to it alone in the car. It's great.
it.
It's
I'll
good.
listen to it.
You get it though, right? Because love truly is a battlefield. You
It
know,
is, yeah.
it's a great song.
Yeah.
So and Amity put their own twist on it, and I think it's quite good.
That's pretty
So
cool.
I
I'll
like it
listen.
too. Yeah. What about media? You like a movie person, or do you read books?
I'm more of like a TV series person. Usually I just finished The Walking Dead, so that was fun.
Oh, was
I don't know
it?
if you've seen it.
Was the last 3 seasons fun? Was it?
Not really, but
Ugh, that
there's a
was.
lot of it, a lot of episodes to get through.
I feel like The Walking Dead was like, to me, the theme was kind of like you were like, oh, yeah, oh, that's cool. Oh, you know what I mean? Like that was the whole time I was watching it. That was just me the whole, and the person
Yeah.
next to me was like, "Shut up!" And I was like, "No, like why is it?" There's such a cool episode as a zombie dies, and then you're like, "Oh, awesome!" And then there's a whole episode about how Carol feels, and I'm like, I can't. I got nothing against Carol, but come on, man. It's
Yeah, it did get a bit like that in the end, but I
yeah.
made it through. Made it through in the end.
Negan made it cool again, right?
He did, yeah. Yeah.
That was worth it.
Yeah.
It's yeah. And then they made a couple of spin-offs. Are you watching them?
There is. I haven't watched them yet, so I'll have to get onto those.
Can't do it, eh?
No,
That's yeah. I mean
no
the
good.
Daryl one seems cool.
Yeah.
I think I tried the other one, the one that the one that the Negan and Maggie, I think.
Okay.
And that was like, it was like, I was like, but then I watched the one with Daryl, and then it was like there was like a variant Walker in it, and he was like way more aggressive and could run and shit. And I was like, now you've got me interested again.
That's cool.
But
Okay. I'll have to
then
watch that one.
I'm sure then there'll be like episode 2, how Carol feels. You'll be like, fuck, no, yes. Damn it. How does Carol feel about the variant Walker? You're like, I don't give a shit how Carol feels. But we're losing track. I shouldn't express my upset with that. But no, okay. Walking Dead's a good one though. It's definitely a long series.
It was a long time.
But yeah, no, it's I feel like these days TV series are more of this thing, aren't they? Yeah. That's
Yeah.
do you think it'd be cool if we saw more powerlifting related stuff? I feel like we should see more powerlifting shows, right? Or at least documentaries.
Yeah, I think like a powerlifting documentary would be pretty cool. Or at least like a strength. Some more of like the Generation Iron ones. I think like they were cool when they came out.
Mm,
Some more of them would be pretty cool.
they were pretty cool. I like number 2, I think the best, with like Rich Piana and that.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was awesome because it was so like it was just all the influences at their peak. And I just found it like interesting to watch. But I mean, like you would have seen West Side versus the World, right?
I have seen that. Yeah. That was
That was
cool too.
yeah, that was cool. Like if you were to say that you wanted a documentary, like what would you want to see one based around? Australia, maybe like powerlifting in Australia.
Yeah, I think like the peeps you could do one pretty well in Australia. If, like there's some pretty cool talent and stuff like throughout the powerlifters, I reckon. Um, be cool to watch.
It would
I'd
be
watch
cool to
it.
watch. Well, there you go. You'd be in it though. I feel like at this point, right?
Nah.
If you were asked to be in it, would you be in it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Well, I've been having conversations with a few people because I'm getting
Yeah.
pretty into the media side of things. And I don't know, I feel like it's more like everyone's like, oh, that's a cool idea. And then there's doing it.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, I actually think, I reckon I could probably round up a few things. You guys are all busy doing strong stuff. But if I could organize it with a few people and move around a little bit, maybe come for a trip to Melbourne, I reckon we could get something going, eh? Even if we just did
Yeah.
a documentary based on it. If you reach out enough, people are pretty cool in Australia,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know?
But you could even go back like through the history of it all too. Like go back to like Bev Francis days and stuff. Like what she did back then was like pretty cool too, I reckon. For powerlifting, it's like female powerlifting
Yeah, I'm
in
not
Australia.
I'm not as familiar with Bev's powerlifting stuff as I am. Like I'd seen some of the bodybuilding stuff, but it's something I still need to follow along with because I've got the access to do it as well. I mean, because I had Adam Coe on. I don't know if you're familiar with Adam Coe, but I had him on a little while ago, and even his like the people he was talking about, I was like, oh my god, this is crazy. Like I think he did a comp in Alice Springs in like I don't even know. It was like the 80s. And I was like, Jesus, I didn't even know they were
Yeah.
lifting back then, you know? So it would be cool to cover all that sort of thing. And then it'd be cool to bring it up to now, right? And where the sport is
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, I guess the main thing to focus on for yourself is just this pro raw in 3 weeks, man. I mean, this will be a pretty cool comp, and I feel like it sounds like it's going to go really well. And I feel like the numbers are like in a really good spot. It's just about, as we know, bringing it together on the day.
Yeah.
But I think some of the things that you want to hit uh, seem like they're there, and it's crazy to see how it's going. Because, like I said, I've followed for a while, and I'd seen some of the stuff that you'd hit before, and luckily now we've got Marcos on Facebook, and he's got like the vault, and he's just like throwing out
Yeah.
videos. It's awesome. Um, my favorite thing is just the people commenting on
Oh,
the
some of them are horrendous.
yeah, because you posted. Which one did you post that I replied to? I can't remember what that was. Was it your
Some
arch?
yeah, he sent me a video of my bench saying it was the worst form he's ever seen or something.
Yeah, it's the worst form I've ever seen on a 170 kilo record.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. So if here's the other thing, if you improve that form, that 200's there.
Yeah, if I try a little harder, I'll be fine.
You just got to go flat back. That's your problem. No? And
Yeah.
just use no lats. Just I want your back turned off.
Yeah,
Yeah,
beautiful.
yeah.
My
That's exactly.
shoulders will feel great.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you're not here for your shoulders to feel good. We want to see you hit the record. You need to do it for all the 55-year-old guys repping out the 40s on on incline in the gym. We want to see proper reps.
Okay, I'll try better.
So yeah, I appreciate it if you did. But in the
Yeah.
meantime, I think there's some pretty crazy stuff to be seen, and I'm looking forward to seeing the performance, man. I'll have to get the stream this year because that's how they did it last year. It was over like 3 or 4 days.
Yeah, yeah, I think it's 4 days this year. Yeah.
It's through the sporting channel now, right? What's it called? The is
Yeah,
that it's
my sport or whatever it's called, I think.
yeah, yeah. So you can actually like get it and have it on your TV or something as opposed to
Yeah.
YouTube.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. I'll be looking forward to that. Has he released how it's set out yet? It's because it's still masters and everything separated, isn't it?
Yeah, so I think it's the masters and the single lifts are on the Thursday. And then sleeves on Friday. And then the girls are Saturday, guys are Sunday.
Okay. Yeah. We'll have to make sure that we keep a bit of an eye out for that one as well. And I feel like, to be honest, for the most part, we've just had a good laugh in this podcast, which has been good. And we probably haven't gone through the history of things as much, but man, it would be wicked if I say this, when I do podcasts, it's obviously great. We have the internet that can connect us, online, which is awesome as well. But if I ever end up in Brisbane, which I do plan to come to Brisbane, yeah, I'd love to meet you in person. Maybe come to the gym that you're at and train there
Yeah,
one
yeah,
day.
for sure. Yeah, that'd be cool.
And it'd be great if you ever do want to come over here. Like if you ever have any kind of thoughts about it, please let me know. We kind of I think the idea will be to head in that direction, especially with the podcast. I kind of would love to. I mean, it could be 5 years from now, but I'd love to get to the point where we can afford to say sort something out with someone and go, hey, look, we'll fly you over. Did you want to do a seminar here? We can do a podcast, and then it's kind of like lucrative for everyone.
Yeah,
Because I feel like Australia is kind of everything here's lower key than the rest of the world, and I think none of us think we can do that stuff.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
like, but it's like, why not? Why can't
yeah,
we do any of it?
yeah,
And I feel like your popularity will increase a lot more, and I hope it does now that you're doing the coaching because I feel like you're going to be able to offer like a really unique perspective, but just also really like a good service because you've been doing it for that long.
yeah, yeah.
So I'm looking forward to seeing how the coaching goes. I hope it goes well.
Thank you.
And I mean, yeah, you've given me nothing to go off. You're like just like a robot motivated person, which so I can't really give you any. I can't really like quirky kind of this shit because you're just killing it. So there's not much to say. But um, advice for the people listening: Sarah is a product of the basics. So you want to just make sure you follow those. Really,
Yeah,
I think that's a
yeah.
good thing to leave it with. But is there anything you would like to? You've got a couple of brands by the sounds of it. You've said Titan and Purist Labs. Is there any other
Yeah.
brands that you would mention?
Yeah, no, it's just those two that are supporting me, and like Gus with Lifters League, like he's supported me for like the last 8 years now too. So pretty fortunate on that front. Yeah,
That's it.
yeah,
All right. Well, I mean, I will shout out the guys I did at the start. So let's see if I can do this without taking a breath. Achievement Apex, Power Pit Rockingham, Slay Thirst Trap, Supplement Mart Rockingham, Bulk Gym Chalk, and Ped Test Australia. Boom.
smashed it.
Yeah, absolutely smashed that. I actually said that so quickly. I'm now going to have to just hydrate afterwards. I'll drink it afterwards, but it was worth it for the click. Um, Look, man, it's been great talking to you. It's always refreshing when you can actually speak to athletes as well. Once again, as things are lower key in Australia, we're lucky enough that we can talk to people. And as you said, social media has kind of created a lot of good things as well as maybe like a couple of voids for people and can sometimes make things kind of all you see is people's grids and you really don't know how to gauge people on that.
Yeah,
And so when you kind of get to actually speak to someone, that's why I kind of like to explore the personal side of it, because for a lot of people, especially now, if you're going to be coaching, that people can listen to it and you can be a lot more approachable,
yeah,
because they're not just, some people get intimidated really easily and
yeah.
they might
Not
actually
just a
really,
meathead.
well, yeah, you can have a little bit of meathead to you, but like for a lot of people, right, they actually really might want your help and could super benefit from it, but they just might not. Now they hear it, they're gonna be like, oh my God, Sarah eats steak and rice. She's just like me. We have so much in common. And then you guys, that could possibly mean that someone comes to you for coaching. So I think that's a good thing.
Yeah, no, I think it's great. Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely.
thank you.
I would say thank you for your time. And, I'm sure we'll talk again in the future. Good luck at Pro Raw is it 3 weeks?
Yes, I
Three
think so.
weeks?
Yeah, three and
Yeah.
a bit.
Three and a bit. Good luck at Pro Raw. You're going to squat 321. I can't wait to see it
Thank you. And explode.
and explode into a rainbow. Thanks again, man.
Thanks, mate. Thank you.